Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Planetary Reviews, and I am here to talk about the rebooted Spider-Man franchise, The Amazing Spider-Man 1, directed by Mark Webb. Now, I went into this a little skeptical, a little nervous, because I liked the originals, except for the third one, but I liked those, and I was like, this is a new director, I don't know how well he's going to do with this movie. So, I did go in there a little skeptical, but also a little excited because my favorite superhero is Spider-Man. So, let's get into it. The story of this one is another origin story of Spider-Man. And Andrew Garfield plays Peter Parker. He ends up getting his powers. He ends up meeting a woman named Gwen Stacy, losing his Uncle Ben. And the story was very straightforward. The only difference is that, instead of Mary Jane, he has Gwen Stacy as his love interest in this movie, which was played beautifully by Emma Stone. I really liked her character. We'll get more into that later. And then we talk about the death of Uncle Ben in this movie, which, in my opinion, was pretty good. It was alright because of the fact that we had seen it talked about for so long in this trilogy. I understand why they went this way with this movie. They wanted to just kind of be like, yes, he passed away, here's the message, you know how it is, and they wanted to just make it go real fast. They didn't want to sit there and talk about it all day, which makes sense. I understood it, so I forgave it, even though it was a little rushed, and I was like, alright. The gripe I had with that was that the speech that we all remember from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. In this movie, it wasn't done as good. Why did they change it? I don't know. They had the rights to it. It's not like they had to sit there and go, oh no, let's change the way he says it. They changed the way he said it in this movie, but just didn't have the same impact that it did in the original trilogy because of the way he said it. Why change the way he said the most important line in Spider-Man's life? Why change it the way he said it? I didn't understand that. So whatever, do what you want. But I did not like that at all. I was like, that is a terrible way of changing this quote. And also, in the midst of becoming Spider-Man in this movie, trying to go to high school and everything like that, we have a new villain, which is the Lizard. The Lizard was never put on screen before, and it was cool seeing the Lizard done in this movie. I was like, wow, the special effects for this guy is really cool. He looks awesome. I loved it. I loved seeing the Lizard out on the big screen, and I was excited. I was like, this is awesome. This is really cool. It was badass. And another thing in this movie is that they gave Spider-Man his web shooters, which was really cool. It was cool that they gave Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man the ability to just kind of shoot out his webs through his body like biological webbing. That was cool. I liked that. But I also wanted to see his web shooters come back, because that's Spider-Man. He had to create his web shooters, and that's who the character is. He's a smart kid who has to be able to create his own, his own web shooters. It showed how smart he was. So I was very happy to see the web shooters make a return in this one. Also, the story was easy to follow. In the beginning of the movie, we had them introduce who his parents were, and something was going on with them in Oscorp. Then he went to live with Aunt May and Uncle Ben. And then he became Spider-Man. It wasn't too hard. There were little side things going on, like, with the parents' storyline and the Lizard. There was a little bit of stuff going on, but not too much that you couldn't follow. Not as bad as Spider-Man 3, and definitely not as bad as The Amazing Spider-Man 2 when it comes to plot lines. So it wasn't that hard to follow, so I think you guys will enjoy that. I think a lot of people saw that probably enjoyed that. Another thing, the fact that they did give us more information on his parents was cool. We had never seen that. We never talked about his parents in the last trilogy, so it was cool to see them actually want to talk about Peter Parker's parents. I like that, so good on them. The next thing I want to talk about is the relationship between Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. This mostly had to do because of the excellent performance by Andrew Garfield and the excellent performance by Emma Stone. The connection they had with each other in this film was fantastic. I loved it. I was like, this is great, because Gwen Stacy is one of my favorite love interests for Spider-Man. So I loved their relationship. In the beginning, granted, in this movie, it was a little rocky. It was like, alright, the dialogue you guys are doing is a little awkward, but I guess I understood what you guys were going for. They were trying to go for, he's an awkward kid, he doesn't really know what he's doing when it comes to talking to girls, but still, it just really didn't feel natural in the beginning. But then, as they got together, and you saw how they were when they talked to each other, after they got past that little awkward moment in the high school, they were able to really just work off each other very well, and I love the connection between these two. That's what really made these two movies for me. Their connection was spot on. I loved the way she portrayed Gwen Stacy. Excellent job by Emma Stone. Absolutely loved it. Even though I also liked Andrew Garfield, the problem with these two movies, I never believed him believed Andrew Garfield to be like a loser, a nerd, somebody who no one liked. I never believed that because of the way this guy looks, the way he was portrayed. Yeah, when he put on the suit, he was awesome. He was cocky. He was like saying all kinds of little one-liners and stuff. It was cool. I liked that. But when he was out of the suit and he was in high school, I never believed for a second that no one would like this guy. The way Andrew Garfield looks and stuff and the way he is, I didn't believe he was a nerd or a loser. I would see just a bunch of girls going after this dude. Like, I couldn't believe that he was a loser. And that's really what Tobey Maguire did well. I don't mean to offend him. He did a good job of portraying the nerd, the loser type, the quiet kid. Andrew Garfield, I just couldn't believe it. He was trying his best, but I didn't believe from the way he looked that he could be a loser, just like Tobey Maguire did very well in the original trilogy. And as we continue on, Martin Sheen and Sally Fields as Uncle Ben and Aunt May were really well done. Martin Sheen gave it his all. I really liked his performance. But Sally Field in this movie, wow, I really liked her performance. I really did. I was like, you are doing a fantastic job. I believe that she really did care about Peter Parker a lot. I really loved her performance, especially in a certain scene in the second movie, but we'll talk about that later. But she did a great job. I liked her as Aunt May. Fantastic performance from her. And the Spider-Man suit that we ended up getting in this movie, some people don't like it, some people love it. I thought it was alright. It wasn't supposed to be perfect. This is a spurt for his first time as Spider-Man, so he had to kind of create his own suit from scratch, right? Like, this is his first time. He's not gonna sit there and be like, yeah, I got this. It's gonna look badass right in the beginning. No. It's gonna have little flaws. It did actually look like a teenager made this. You know, he just took some kind of material, kind of like a basketball material, whatever, and he made it really quickly, and there you go. He just put like little sunglasses things on his eyes, and it looked fine. I was like, that is good for a first time. I understand why it doesn't look 100% great. This is its first suit, guys. You have to sit there and have like a prototype. And that's pretty much what this one was. So for me, the suit wasn't too bad. It really expressed the fact that this was his first time wearing or making the Spider-Man suit. Next thing I want to talk about, the special effects in this movie in action were spot on. The special effects in this movie were great. Every fight scene was really cool. I liked it. I liked every confrontation between him and the Lizard, especially when they were on the bridge. That looked awesome. I was like, this is cool. This is the way I wanted to see the Lizard be done on live action, on the big screen. And then we got to talk about, let's see, did I get everything actually? Yeah, I actually got everything in the pros, so that was all good. I loved all that, and I loved the ending fight scene at the end too. Got to talk about that. The ending fight scene was very cool. Was it a little bit predictable the way he did it, that he was going to shoot something into the sky and it was just going to be like prevent that? Yeah, it was a little predictable, but I still liked it. I still thought it was a pretty cool ending. I liked the idea that he wanted to turn everybody into lizards. That was cool. Granted, they didn't talk about what happened to those dudes who turned back. I think, no, they showed them that they were okay, so the guys who turned into lizards. So I thought his plan was pretty cool. It was unique. He wanted to make a perfect race. I didn't have a problem with it. I liked the ending confrontation. Let's talk about a little bit more of some of the bad. Like I said, in the beginning, the relationship between Peter and Gwen was a little awkward, so I couldn't really hang on to that. I didn't like the fact that they changed the way he said, with great power comes great responsibility. They changed it in a way that I just did not enjoy. I was like, why did you do that? Just keep it the same, guys. There was no reason. And also, I gotta talk about that football field scene. There's a scene in the movie where they're in a football field, and he's about to kiss Emma Stone, and he's sitting there and somebody tosses a football at him, and then he throws it straight back at him as hard as he could, and he bends one of the football goals. Why? He wouldn't do that, because that's gonna give away who he is. Like, Jesus. I thought the part in the movie where they were in the basketball court and they were playing basketball and he broke the glass on the basketball hoop, that was bad. But no, that looks even worse. And then no one asked any questions like, oh, that can't be Spider-Man. Only Spider-Man might be able to do something like that. Why? Why'd you have that scene? It makes no sense. Very stupid. Very, very stupid. And also, the ending with this movie, after the fact that Emma Stone or Gwen Stacy's dad dies at the end, spoiler alert, I'm sorry, when he makes him give him a promise to leave Gwen out of this, I thought that was very touching. I was like, he has to sit there and just give up the one woman he loves because he doesn't want to break a promise that he had with her father to keep her out of danger. And as we know what happens, we know the tragic story. And the way I feel like it should have ended with him leaving her and them being apart. But then the movie decides to have one little bit of dialogue where it's like, don't keep promises you can't keep. And then he goes, but those are the best ones. No, that completely blew the tone. It should have been a very sad moment. It should have been like, all right, I have to make the decision to leave her out of my life to make sure she is safe so that her dad knows that I could protect her while he's gone. And then maybe in the next movie they come back together because after a while they're just like, you know what, we love each other too much that we can't just do it. I love you so much. They should have done something like that. They should not have had it where right at the end of the movie just goes, screw your promise, boom, we're back together. No. They should have just kept it on a very somber and maybe a little bit of a sad tone to be broken up. But you know what, it would have made sense. I feel like the ending of this movie was a little when it did that. But that's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, The Amazing Spider-Man, I do not think this movie is terrible. I do not think this movie is bad. I do not think it was a bad reboot. I do think this movie had some flaws. It wasn't as good as the original one from the Sam Raimi trilogy, but I still enjoyed it. I walked out of this theater when I went to go see it happy. I enjoyed what I saw. So, at the end of the day, Amazing Spider-Man gets a solid B- from me. It was good. It had a lot of good action, great performances. It had some flaws that the original one didn't, but you know what? It was still a fun time. So, B- at the end of the day for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keeping my next video for next week will be Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I'm very excited for that. I hope it could be as good as the original, so we will see. I can't wait to review that. The next game I'll be reviewing is Prey, and then after that, Injustice 2. Look forward to those 3 videos. So, yeah, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you guys thought about The Amazing Spider-Man. Did you not like it? Did you like it? I want to know what you guys think. I care about what the audience thinks. Let me know, guys. But, as always, guys, have a great day.